Most people think North Carolina is a quiet mid-tier southern state. That assumption is exactly why you're not paying attention. Because while you were distracted by Florida's chaos and Texas's hype, North Carolina was almost vaporized by a nuclear bomb, built a banking empire that rivals New York, and created a tech hub that's gutting Silicon Valley's talent pool. This isn't about quirky Southern charm. This is about power most people don't see. I spent 4 months uncovering what North Carolina doesn't advertise. And by the end of this, you'll understand why ignoring this state was a strategic mistake. Let's start with number 30. Off North Carolina's coast, over 5,000 documented shipwrecks, more than any coastline in North America. This isn't romantic history. This is a 300-mile killing field that's been operating for 500 years. Spanish treasure galleons from the 1500s, Blackbeard's Queen Anne's Revenge, German U-boats hunting Allied ships in World War II, modern cargo vessels that misjudged the current. In 2015, a diver found $400,000 worth of Spanish gold coins just sitting on the ocean floor. The combination of shallow waters, shifting sandbars called the Diamond Shoals, and the collision of two major ocean currents creates conditions that have destroyed ships for centuries. They call it the graveyard of the Atlantic because that's exactly what it is. A maritime cemetery spanning 3 centuries of naval history. January 24th, 1961, 12:30 a.m., AB 52. Stratofortress carrying 2 Mark 39 hydrogen bombs disintegrates over Goldsboro, North Carolina. Both bombs fall, each one 3.8 megatons, 260 times more powerful than Hiroshima. Bomb 1, parachute deploys, lands relatively intact. Bomb 2, parachute fails, hits the ground at 700 miles per hour. The Department of Defense declassified the report in 2013. 3 of its 4 safety mechanisms failed on impact. One switch, a simple low-voltage switch. That's all that prevented detonation. If it had detonated, everything within 8 miles instantly vaporized. Raleigh hit with lethal radiation, fallout plume reaching Washington, D.C. within hours. Over 50,000 people would have died immediately. Hundreds of thousands more from radiation in the following weeks. They recovered most of Bomb 1. Bomb 2? Only fragments. The secondary core, still radioactive, is buried so deep they couldn't retrieve it. It's still there. In a field in Goldsboro, entombed under mud and water. That wasn't luck. That was statistical insanity. North Carolina came within one switch of becoming a radioactive wasteland, and most people who live there have no idea this happened. 115 English colonists established a settlement on Roanoke Island. 3 years later, every single person has vanished. No bodies, no mass grave, no signs of violence. Just one word carved into wood, Croatoan. For over 4 centuries, this was America's oldest unsolved mystery. Then recently, archaeologists began uncovering English artifacts, swords, tools, pottery, integrated into Native American settlements inland. The evidence suggests the colonists didn't die, they dispersed, they integrated. They chose survival over identity. The colony didn't vanish, it dissolved. For over 800 years, mysterious lights have appeared above Brown Mountain near Morganton. Cherokee oral histories describe them, German settlers documented them in the 1700s. The U.S. Geological Survey investigated in 1913 and found nothing conclusive. Glowing spheres rise from the mountain, move erratically, change colors, and disappear. Scientists propose ball lightning, geological effects, atmospheric plasma. None fully explain thousands of consistent sightings. It's an unsolved phenomenon that predates the United States itself. The Biltmore Estate in Asheville is America's largest privately owned home. Nearly 180,000 square feet, 250 rooms. But during World War II, it quietly became a classified government facility. The National Gallery secretly stored priceless masterpieces there. Paintings worth billions in today's dollars hidden in the basement. Works by Rembrandt, Vermeer, Van Dyck, a private mansion serving as America's cultural backup vault while the world burned. The Venus flytrap grows naturally in only one place on Earth, a 60-mile radius around Wilmington, North Carolina, nowhere else. It evolved in nutrient-poor soil and learned to extract nitrogen from insects instead. Poaching became such a problem that North Carolina made stealing wild Venus flytraps a felony. Every Venus flytrap you've ever seen traces genetically back to this tiny region. The Cape Hatteras Lighthouse stands 210 feet tall, built in 1870. By the 1980s, coastal erosion was swallowing the beach at 15 feet per year. So in 1999, engineers moved the entire lighthouse, 4,800 tons, nearly 3,000 feet inland, in one piece. When the ocean threatened it, North Carolina didn't surrender. It relocated the problem. During Prohibition, North Carolina's mountains produced massive amounts of illegal moonshine. Bootleggers modified their cars to outrun federal agents, bigger engines, reinforced suspensions, high-speed mountain handling. When Prohibition ended, those drivers turned competitive. That evolved into stock car racing. Today, over 90% of NASCAR teams are headquartered near Charlotte. Illegal whiskey deliveries turned into a multi-billion-dollar motorsports industry. North Carolina has two barbecue identities: Eastern-style whole hog, vinegar-based sauce. Western-style pork shoulder, tomato-based sauce. This isn't preference, it's tribal alignment. Entire communities divide over it. Charlotte is the second largest banking center in America, not third, second, right behind New York City. Bank of America. Wells Fargo's major East Coast operations, Truist. Charlotte controls trillions in banking assets. In the 1980s, North Carolina deregulated interstate banking early. Its banks expanded aggressively while others hesitated. Then the 2008 financial crisis reshuffled everything. Charlotte's institutions absorbed key assets and consolidated power. While attention focused on Wall Street, Charlotte quietly grew stronger. The Research Triangle was engineered in 1959 to stop brain drain. 3 universities, thousands of acres, a long-term strategy to attract research companies and retain talent. IBM arrived, then biotech, then global tech firms. Today, Apple and Google are expanding there. Over 55,000 high-paying jobs sit in a region that was pine forest 2 generations ago. Pepsi was invented in New Bern in 1893 by a pharmacist named Caleb Bradham, originally sold as a digestive tonic. Today, PepsiCo generates tens of billions annually, a global brand born behind a pharmacy counter. High Point hosts the largest home furnishings trade show in the world. Millions of square feet of showroom space. Twice a year, buyers from over 100 countries descend on a city of barely over 100,000 residents. Billions in furniture transactions happen there. The Wright brothers achieved first powered flight at Kitty Hawk. Ohio designed it, North Carolina flew it. Both claim it. Neither concedes. Cheerwine, a cherry soda created in 1917, remains a fiercely regional obsession. Still family-owned, still culturally embedded. North Carolina doesn't just host NASCAR, it dominates it. Elite teams, engineering facilities, billion-dollar economic impact, all centered around Charlotte. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill was chartered in 1789 and became the first public university in the U.S. to open and graduate students. Public higher education in America traces back here. College basketball isn't entertainment in North Carolina, it's identity. Duke and UNC sit 8 miles apart and have combined for double-digit national championships. Entire families divide over this rivalry. North Carolina holds one of the largest active-duty military populations in the country. Major installations, elite units, tens of billions in economic impact. Military spending provides stability through recessions. Beneath Lake Norman lie submerged towns, roads, foundations, cemeteries, communities sacrificed to fuel Charlotte's growth. America's first gold rush began in North Carolina in 1799, a 17-pound nugget discovered by a 12-year-old boy. California came later. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park, the most visited in America, is half in North Carolina. The Blue Ridge Parkway is the most visited unit in the entire national park system. Hurricane Floyd in 1999 devastated the state and forced a complete overhaul of emergency management systems. North Carolina became stronger because it had to. The state is a major pharmaceutical research and manufacturing hub, high-paying jobs, global health impact. Asheville became one of America's densest craft beer regions, from moonshine to microbrews. North Carolina once dominated textiles. When globalization collapsed that industry, the state pivoted. Banking, tech, pharma, reinvention instead of decline. There's a place where your car appears to roll uphill if you put it in neutral, an optical illusion that tricks your brain into misreading gravity. North Carolina stretches from the highest peak in the eastern United States to sea-level beaches within a few hours' drive. Multiple climate zones, extreme biodiversity, and here's the number one fact. North Carolina has been building power for decades, and most people didn't notice. Research infrastructure, banking dominance, pharmaceutical expansion, military concentration, geographic advantage. This wasn't accidental, it was strategic. While everyone debates Florida and Texas, North Carolina executes quietly. It's powerful precisely because it's underestimated, and that may be its greatest advantage. 30 facts, nuclear close calls. Engineered tech hubs, economic reinvention. Hidden military weight. Cultural intensity. But this is only the foundation. Because while history built the infrastructure, something else is happening right now. People are moving, high earners, remote workers, tech talent, finance professionals. The migration patterns are shifting. And the next phase isn't about what North Carolina was, it's about what it's becoming. Part 2 breaks down the migration data, the economic shifts, and the window that's closing. Because when a state builds this much infrastructure in silence, it doesn't stay invisible forever. Thanks for watching. See you in part 2.